Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another reading wrap up. October to be specific. It's currently Monday, November 3rd. It is currently around 7 a.m. I supposed to go to school today, but it's not gonna happen. There's a summer going around, and you know. So I was telling myself it was yesterday, and then I decided to not, and I talked myself out of it, and I worked on Planet Physical Touch, which I finished chapter 5 yesterday and started chapter 6, and I think I can be able to finish chapter 6 by today, hopefully, if I don't let my overrider come out and write what I need to write. Because I definitely underestimated how long I needed chapter 5. Because technically I wrote chapter 1, chapter 2 fully, and I didn't finish chapter 4, chapter 3. I finished chapter 4 and I finished chapter 5. I haven't finished chapter 6 yet. I started chapter 3 yesterday. I started 6 yesterday. So, but, yeah. I'm actually really proud of myself because I thought, because if you guys have heard that, I've been able to read well, basically like a reading song, kind of, basically, I would say yes, because I read 3 books in July, I think 4 in August, I think I read 3 in, I think I read 3 in September. But October was definitely a come up. I read, so yeah, like we always do. I been haven't done as well, so you know, usually I have done this right. Let's just start out with some monthly stats. So I read total 8 books this month. I read 3,120 words, 3,120 pages this month. 7 of those were physical and 1 Kindle Unlimited book. I read 6 romance, 1 fantasy, and 1 thriller book. This month was a good month for me. I would say I read. It was good. It was a good reading month for me. I read a lot of books that I was in the middle of. Well, technically, I'm pretty proud of myself. I finished the books that not all of them. I still have 2 books that I haven't been able to finish yet. But yeah, so let's just get right into it because I don't want this video to be too long. Not too long, but you know. So yeah, half of these were library books. I don't have a physical copy anymore. I read basically all physical this month, except So yeah, the first book I read, which technically I kind of cheated with this one because I technically finished this one in September, but on Goodreads I never. This is what happens. I love Goodreads, but if I don't immediately put it in Goodreads that I'm finished this book, and especially when I'm like when I start a book, and if I don't put it right into Goodreads right after I start reading it, I will forget. And that's what happens with a lot of books I'm calling though. Like having some, if you look at the date, it might say like a couple days before, after the date, but it's probably after I, this is how it is. That's how. And then, so, technically, I think I finished it in September, but technically I am counting this for October just because, you know, because yeah, I don't live here. So the first book I read this month was Fairy Tale by Stephen King, my first ever Stephen King book. This was a library book, and I saw this. I think in 2022 when this book came out, Haley Pham read, not read, she saw this book in the bookstore, but she never picked it up. And I saw it, she was on like one of the book stands in the library, and I picked it up, and I just picked it up and just started reading it because I always want to read. I want to read 11, 22, 63, I think it's called. I can't remember exactly. So my birthday and Christmas wish list, guys. I will be 16 in 6 days. It's crazy. Next Sunday, I will be officially 16. And I will say, technically today is, like I said, Monday, November 1st. Z will go. Hey guys, so I had to take a break and I'm just trying to see my camera battery. But, yeah. So, first one I really said was Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I ended up giving this 3.5. I enjoyed this. I just feel like, so it was about a boy, what was his name? Let's see. Can't, I should have Goodreads pulled up already, but I didn't. Totally weird. Basically, it's about this boy Charlie who basically, there's 7 habits of this old man, kind of, basically. That old man that happens where something happens to him, and basically he has a dog, and Charlie takes care of the dog while he's in the hospital, and basically, I don't know how to explain it, and then when he, I feel like I'm not explaining it justice, but like, basically, the old man was basically keeping a secret, and it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but basically it was this whole other world that he was in, and basically the guy leaves it to Charlie, and she has to go, which I enjoyed the beginning, but like when it got to like, I think I just started losing interest when it got to the point where he was in this world, and it ended up with just trying to just get through it. So I don't know, I just felt very lengthy. I felt like this book could have been a little shorter. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I didn't get any justice and they explain it anyway, but it's just like this boy who helped this guy take care of his dog when he was in the hospital when he was unable, and this guy dies, and basically, well, he gets the guy tells Charlie to do things, whatever, and then when he dies, he basically has this fantasy world that his guy was in, and I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I don't. It was just too lengthy, and I just lost interest so fast when it got to that point. So I kind of stopped reading it when it got to like towards the end, because I just didn't really care enough to, So I ended up giving this 3.5. It was good. It was okay. It was So yeah, 3.5 for that one. The next one I read was The Ghoul in the Castle by James Harrison. First James Harrison book 2 this month, which is crazy. It's basically about this ghoul that basically, it's like the old Twi'leks. You get, basically this ghoul lives in this world where she's like, basically, I think it's like 1940 something, and then we're in the now timeline. And basically, she's in this world with her mom, and she has her brother, and she's basically, in the now chapter, she's basically like gone crazy, she's in this psych ward, and she keeps telling them, because she's trying to basically save her sister, because her parents, I don't know how to, let me just look at the synopsis to tell you. It says, Emerald delivers, no, about a teen caught between two worlds and a truth that could set her free. It or trap her forever. My name is Jane Doerr, and I need you to believe me. Now, Hannah is born to Balaam's psych and told she's suffering from hallucinations and delusions. Hannah knows the truth, and she has to return to the past and save her sister. Could Jordan, the abandoned psych student who seems to truly care, answer she's looking for? 1347. Hannah and her village are starving to death in a brutal winter. Hannah seeks out food starvation in Bull's castle. If she's caught stealing, she will surely hang. But if her and her friends succeed, she will save everyone. But if her and her friends succeed, she will save everyone she holds dear. Now, Dawn isn't sure what to believe, and Hannah even has bigger problems. She doesn't make it back, her sister will die. But if she keeps going back, she might never escape. So basically, she go back and forth, and I liked it, but the ending. I feel like this book was like I thought this book had to be longer. This book was 350, like 307 pages, I think, and it just left me unsatisfied. And it felt kind of repetitive. I know it had to be repetitive because of the story, but I thought we could have changed it. It felt very repetitive, and it felt very too short. Like, I feel like if this book was like shorter, I feel like I would have liked it basically more. But yeah, so I ended up giving it 3. It was good, but not my favorite. It was, so yeah. So next book I read, which is my favorite book out of the whole month, which I picked this up because I was just looking for a Kindle book. This is my only Kindle book I read this year. I didn't read To Go in the Castle on my school library, so I had to. But the only book that I read on Kindle was Breaking Point by Matt Leslie. I gave this 4.5. God, I might have just looked this up before 4.75 because it's basically about a female. It's a fake dating, and basically a female character needs. What's the sweetest one? Because although I feel like I have to use it at 4.7, 4.5 because you know it's about Grayson Crawford. Basically, Grayson is basically kind of he's grieving his brother's lost, and he can't get out of. He has this image that he has to prove to himself that he's better than he is, and you know, and basically a female character. What's her name? Bella. Bella basically is trying to help her mom, and I feel like I'm just not. But guys, the stuff that Grayson did, I didn't see a Grayson call for in my life. Like I said, I only just recently read a 7.5-star read earlier yesterday. I finished one yesterday, and I was just like, a guy just need to like. But the stuff that he does for her, like it, I I'm so ready because I know I saw the offer on TikTok, and she posted that she's working on this book too, and I was just like, I know it takes a long time, but I'm like, maybe we'll get it in 2026. Like, that's what I'm hoping by 2026. But like, I feel like I can't do these books justice. I feel like I'm not giving. I feel like I'm not really telling you what it's about, but it's basically a fake dating. He's trying to prove that he's not. He's better than he is, and he's trying to grieve his brother, and and she's trying to help her mom as way. So yeah, I gave it that 4.5. You know, so yeah. So technically I didn't finish this one, but technically I had like 90 pages left, but I didn't really enjoy it enough to like, okay, and that is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, which I gave just 2 stars. I don't know, I feel like I think I wasn't paying attention as much as I needed to, because it's basically when I heard about this trope, I never read this trope before, so I'm like, oh, okay. And basically, it's about a girl that basically is stuck in like a Groundhog Day. Basically, she's reliving a day at the same day, and she's basically living Valentine's Day every day, And I feel like I don't know why everyone said this gets repetitive because it is, and I think every time I just started it so bored where I wasn't paying attention. where I didn't even know what was happening. Like I was just like, come on. Like I was reading. She was trying to do stuff that would make it change, but she couldn't. Like it was going the same way it was going, and I was just like, I was just sitting there reading it. This was not a 200-page book, but I was like a 280-page book, and I think I made the page 200, and then I'm done. Like I was over it. Like I wanted to, so I stopped it. I said DNF'd it. So still rated it on Goodreads, but I was just like, you know, I read this book too, and I was just like, please, just like I feel like I saw no ending point and saw no like like it's kind of I feel like I can't enough to like I'm like oh so yeah I feel like it was too I just felt like it was very repetitive and I got bored so quickly and it's like you know so yeah okay so I told myself after I read the last book or actually DNF the last book before I read these three because I was just like I felt like they were getting so because I gave the first two books I ever read by her 5 stars. I think I gave 4 books by her 5 stars, which I read it was like 3 or 4 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And then I kind of went by her backlist, kind of, and I was just getting very bored. And I told myself I was never gonna read her again. I told her I was like, eh. But I read and my school they have all of Colin Hoover's books. And I saw this here because I know this is like one of her most underrated series. And I looked at the back, and the back sounded interesting, so I'm just going to read it. Which is Slammed by Colin Hoover, which is the first book in the Slam series. This is about Will, and I think her name is Lakeland, but everyone calls her Lake. And basically, Lake is moving to this new town to basically so dad has passed away and um this town and they Will and like me immediately and there was chemistry already and it was like love at first sight basically. They went on a perfect first date and then everything was great until something puts them in the middle that they can't be together. And I remember reading this point, I remember reading when we got to that point, and I was like, I was so stressed out. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, why? Of course you have to make it that. Which it gets better in the end, but like, I don't know. This book, I feel like no offense to Colin Hoover, I love Colin Hoover, which I forgot. I thought she was dead right because I feel like I haven't seen her really write much. Well, not write much, but I follow her on Instagram. But I saw that she had a new release come out and was like, ugh, oh. No, it's just like whatever happens that makes them not that can't get that like they can't be together. I look like any conflict. Of course, you have to make it that conflict. You have to make it that. And there was so much back and forth, and I liked it. I liked it, but like I was just like, and I ended up. I thought this book should have been longer. This book was like 307 pages. I don't know how long it was. I feel like it was like 100 pages long. I feel like we ran good. I kind of feel like they dissolved it in the way that like was like the easy way, like the way that was gonna be the easiest. And I liked the way they how they got together, but it was cute because basically poetry is a big part in this like big part. So it's like I enjoyed. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I think this would have been higher if the conflict wasn't the way it was, the way the day, not the conflict. The reason why they couldn't be together, I think it was something different. I think I would have liked it. And it was just a couple of things icked me out a little bit. So, but I enjoyed it enough where I continued the series, which I read the second book, which is Point a Treat by Colin Hoover, which I gave it 4.5. I think this book was unnecessary. I feel like this book was unnecessary. I feel like, well, I feel like it was not unnecessary, but it did feel unnecessary. Like I kind of forgot I've read this book already. basically you get to see them. It's been a while since I've read this, so I can't really remember. Well, I read these books like basically almost back to back. Like I read Slammed October 8th, October 9th to October 13th. I read Point of Retreat, which is book 2. I read from October 15th to October 20th. And I read This School, which is book 3, the 20th through the 22nd. And basically there's something that Will kind of keeps secret about something, and I don't know how to explain how I felt this book. I feel like if we had, I know why we had to have this book, but like, it kind of felt very unnecessary. It was just like, it was good, so I gave it 3.5, but I feel like I can't really tell you, because if you haven't read the first one, you can't really read the second one until you read the first one, or, you know. But I guess I just decided, because sometimes I can finish it, I can just leave a series unfinished and not care, but her books are so easy to read, like, it's not even funny. And the next book I read was This School by Slam by Colleen Hoover, which is the third and final book, which I will say, if you looked at the like offers, not the offers note, but like the beginning, it says this was like on the second book. It says this is a book two of a 2-book series, or maybe the first book. I can't remember. And I was like, you added to film, which no offense to her, I still love her, but I'm like, basically, I liked the way this came, because basically it gave you the insight, like what really happened between, like, a lot of things that, like, were never, like, really told in the 2 other books. You kind of got to see, like, they was, like, I don't know how to describe the houses. You have to read it. I feel like I'm not giving this book any, like, justice, kind of. I don't know. It was good. I'm not giving this 4. I like this. I just feel like it was kind of like some stuff I kind of saw already. They just maybe, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna give it this 4. This was good. It was just basically like answered probably a lot of questions that people ever had. So it was good. It was great, you know. But I feel like this video is like kind of like I feel like I'm not really like, you know, explaining the books that well, and you know. But yeah. So the last book I read was the only physical book I read this month, which is Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. This is the newest release. This came out I think it came out in September. For some reason, what happens is, I kind of forgot this book was coming out. Not really, but like, I would remember it come out, and then I would forget about it, and then I would remember, and then I would forget, and then I would forget. So when I was in the book salon, I picked this up, and this is like her newest young adult, like I said, and I was like, I remember when she announced this. It's basically about our 2 characters, Danny and Alec. And basically, they grew up together, and basically their moms are best friends, and basically each other, and then basically there's something that happens that makes them have to go apart, and her mom ends up going back when I think this is high school. I think Alex is in college and she's in high school, or maybe I think they're both in high school. And basically she moves back to she moves where Alex lives again, not again, you know, and there's a lot of tension, and basically they have to fake date to, I can't really tell you, like, it's fake date, but for some reason this book just clicked for me. I think I'm starting to realize I'm liking more and more Second Chance and Childhood Friends to Lovers, because I've read, I think, 2 or 3 this past couple months, and I gave this one 4.5, the one I finished yesterday 4.75. I really enjoyed it, and just I don't know how to describe why I really got this gave me the feels that I really enjoyed this. It's young adult, obviously, so you know. So yeah, so yeah, it's 4.5. So yeah, I feel like I kind of just did it, you know, but you know. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.